Well, I know it's been a while since I've made Dragon Ball Super videos, or Dragon Ball videos in general, and there are very good reasons for that. For example, the biggest reason is that I'm focusing less of my time on the anime series and focusing my time on the quintessential review, the review that any other reviewer is too pussyfooting around to actually sit down and review, and that is of course the creme de la creme of all Dragon Ball content, the official porn parody to Dragon Ball, which is the Brazzers Network porn parody. Yes, I saw it. I've been reviewing it. That's what this whole time gap has been all about. I have been spending most of my hard-earned time getting my hands really dirty on truly analyzing and deconstructing this porn, because to be honest folks, it's very difficult to truly review porn. I mean, like, you have to really get into the mindset and see like how does everything fit, how does everything work, how accurate is a Goku fucking Bulma kind of thing going on. I mean, like, this is legit stuff. This is the thumbnail, folks. It's a legit shit that's going down. Shit's going down in a specific rate, and I've been reviewing most of my time on creating a video for it. So that's where my time has been going towards, and it takes a while. It takes a real good while to really analyze and review porn. I mean, like, it takes several takes. You know, that's why there's been a huge gap. I mean, sometimes, I mean, for me, for instance, it takes possibly 2 times. I don't know, sometimes 5 times. I don't know. It really depends how much water I'm drinking in a day, to be honest. Okay, well, the actual tried and true reason as to why there's been a lack of Dragon Ball content on my channel is because of this only reason. I don't give a fuck about YouTube anymore. I don't give a fuck about making videos anymore. My attention and desires have moved away from YouTube and anything about content creating, and more about drugs and hookers. I know, it sounds fucked up and weird. It's like, wow, really? You're that kind of guy? Yes, I am. I can't help it. I enjoy it. Ever since I went to Vegas and I saw the lifestyle, I've been obsessed with escorting supermodels and cocaine. I thought it was a myth that they go hand in hand, but they really do go hand in hand, and it's really enjoyable when you're part of the whole party. And now that's been my lifestyle ever since 2015, and I can't stop doing it. It's an addiction, and anybody who tries to call me out as that's bullshit, look at your fraudery and know that you, sir, are a fraud for knowing that you know you do exactly what I just said I do. So fuck you. I mean, like, what am I supposed to do? I live in Florida, for fuck's sake. I'm in an ocean of chongas. There's waves of big booty Latinas all over the place. What am I supposed to do? Not hang out with them and play with my cummies? Yeah, this was a mistake to Well, vulgarities aside, I'm Josh12 and I'm here with my official review for Dragon Ball Super the Manga, Chapter 17. Yes, I know it's been a while since I've done Dragon Ball Super videos, and disregarding the shit I stated in the, I guess, the intro to this video, there are 3 actual, truthful, factual reasons as to why I have not been focusing my time on Dragon Ball videos on my channel, specifically Super ones, and it's because of thus. Number 1, Funimation officially announced they're doing the English dub to Dragon Ball Supers, which is awesome. I'm fully stoked about it, seeing as how I've been really anticipating when Funimation will be dubbing the anime, and they're officially doing it, and I'm completely happy about that. So, essentially, even though I've loved what the anime's been so far in Japan, I'm going to be navigating my time and focusing it less on making content on what the Japanese are doing and more on what Funimation will do with their English dub. So that's kind of like where my attention will be navigated towards. Number 2, the anime itself has kind of dragged on, in my personal opinion. Now I know up to the point that I'm recording this review, the Trunks arc has come to a full close, so essentially that arc is essentially done. Now we have some filler time, but for the most part, every other Dragon Ball person on the internet or on YouTube specifically will tell you that it's been the most phenomenal thing ever. I will agree, it's been a really great arc and probably the best arc out of this entire series. However, there's just been so much stuff that's been done in Super, in that arc especially, that there's so many liberties and so many changes and just so many correction changes and retconnings and just a lot of dragging of the plot and the pacing that really took me out of this series, and that's kind of another real reason why. I mean, as much as I love this series and what it did, and Dragon Ball is not Final Fantasy, it's not freaking fucking Kingdom Hearts. It's none of that shit. So I'm not really into what they were doing, but I am a fan and I really enjoy what they did, and the arc and the way it closed was really awesome. I thought it was really cool, even though the liberties that they took were kind of bothersome, and the whole like going back and forth from times just really bugged me, and I don't know why Bulma and Mai were there. So yeah, they were there, whatever, it is what it is. It really bugged me, so it kind of took me out of reviewing the series. And of course, third and final, I've been having some serious mental breakdowns behind the scenes, and my love of content creating on YouTube has dwindled to numbers of very scary numbers to a point where I don't really want to be on YouTube anymore. So the later half of 2016, as great as it's been for Dragon Ball content, it's really been just a downer on my side. So that's kind of just where I'm coming from. But those are the three major reasons as to why I kind of stopped reviewing Super and have kind of stopped making Dragon Ball videos, along with a lot of other video content I had been doing. But with that being said, I am finally back, and let's get into the chapter at hand, which is chapter 17. And of course, if you've not checked out or read it, please do so, because this review will contain spoilers. That being said, let's get to chapter 17 of the Dragon Ball Super manga. Now, overall, looking at the chapter as a full, I know I'm kind of late to the party here, seeing as how this chapter has come out in a good amount of time. There are three specific portions with this chapter. There's a first, second, and third act. The first act is essentially stuff we've seen before. It's essentially just Zamasu and Goasha essentially trying to understand the ranks of what it means to be Supreme Kai, and of course the demise and the fall of grace from Zamasu being a good person to possibly being a very bitter and evil person, and Goasha trying to teach him the ways of Kai and essentially trying to humanize the character Zamasu, which of course, if we've learned anything from the anime, is all for naught. However, with that being said, we get to Act 3, which is essentially more redundancy. It's essentially just Goku, Beerus, and Whis finding out that Zeno, the Omni King of everything, essentially needs to see Goku. For what reason? Well, in the anime, it's because Omni King wants Goku to be his best buddy. Goku doesn't care because he's Goku, and that's essentially what happens on that front. But then there comes the second act, the in-between, the thing that really makes me go, this chapter is dog shit, in the sense of it's really dull and boring. I love Dragon Ball Super and I love chapters of the manga that Toyotarō does. However, this chapter is so god-awful in the sense that it's so boring. It drags on. There's way too much dialogue over Zamasu and Goasha going off on very specific point of views and outlooks on life. We get it. He's emo. He's an old fart. Get over it. But there is a saving grace in this chapter, folks. There is a reason to check out this chapter, and I'm spoiling it right now. It is Dragon Ball Mario Kart. Yes, I know. I'm probably the only person who came up with that joke on YouTube. But disregarding all failed jokes aside, this portion of the chapter is pretty much the greatest thing this chapter could have done. This defines why Toyotarō is awesome for Dragon Ball Super the manga, because he takes what the anime is not going to do and completely just does whatever he wants with this tiny little pockets of time that, of course, the anime doesn't want to do. And I really enjoyed that. And I don't know why he decided to do this weird arcade mode Mario Kart kind of esque video game in Dragon Ball Super the manga. Maybe it was because of the whole Xenoverse 2 thing coming down. Xenoverse came out, and a lot of people love it, of course, and making videos on it. I personally don't give a fuck because that's just me. But I guess that was kind of like Toy and everybody involved with Dragon Ball Super is kind of like, okay, Toyotarō, try and plug in video games because we need people to fucking buy our shit, and the video game's coming out, and PS4, this motherfucker. So do that, because we're all faithful to Sony, and Sony we trust when it comes to games. Everything else sucks. Do that, sir. And he did that. And it's really fun. I like it. It's really cool. It's Mario Kart with Dragon Ball characters. Trunks, for fuck's sake, takes a fucking tortoise shell and throws it. it's pretty much copyright all over the place, but whatever, it is what it is. But it's just so out of the norm, and that's what I really love about this portion and this specific chapter, is that we get a lot of redundancy, we get a lot of very average, run-of-the-mill Dragon Ball content. We get Zamasu's rise to be a villain, to be black, at least in this specific timeline. We get Goku having to go on another journey to figure out new characters upon this overgrowing continuity. We get to see those things. We get to see what it means to be a good person and an evil person. We get to see the duality of these characters. But the thing I always love is when they take a chance at doing something completely out of the norm. And that's where it happens in this fucking chapter. And it's so fucking good. I love it. I mean, you have Mario Kart, then you have Goku and Vegeta in tank tops lounging around looking like they're getting ready to fucking pose in Men's Health magazine. I mean, like, it's fucking phenomenal shit right there. It's so good, and I love it. And then you have Vegeta and Trunks hanging out, their relationship growing because, well, I mean, like, it's Vegeta and Trunks, and I mean, like, we gotta get the fangirls wet somehow, so of course, put some fucking Vegeta and Trunks shit in there, so do it, and they did it, and it's fucking cool. We get to see that stuff, and it's all awesome, and I love it. But that portion is really where Toyotaro's brilliance with the manga goes, and it's really the main reason to check out the chapter. Overall, the chapter has a lot of real cool things here and there. The Zamasu fight with the dinosaur barbaric creatures of his universe and timeline that he's following with the time ring is interesting. Goash's history of the time rings and how it means to be a Supreme Kai is also interesting. Of course, the Mario Kart stuff is the best part, and the whole... I love this portion, and it's so subtle, and it's so, like, shoved in there, but I love it, and it's a real nice touch by Toyotarō, and it's this. Beerus grabs a giant barrel full of beer and just chugs it. And something came to mind where I saw that, and I was like, wouldn't it be so fucking awesome, folks, if you had Beerus, the god of destruction of Dragon Ball, in a beer drinking contest with the god of thunder himself, Thor. I'm just saying, wouldn't it be cool? I know there's a lot of fan comics out there and people like to do shit that's really interesting. Here's a cool thing to do. Instead of Saitama fighting Vegeta or Goku, or whoever the fuck Saitama wants to fight, how about do this? Do Beerus and Thor in a bar, and they're gonna do a beer drinking contest to see who can really drink who under the table. That's something I want to read. That's something I want to see someone approach on the internet. Do it now. I fucking will love you. It would be so hilarious. I mean, come on. Thor versus Beerus and beer. There's nothing better than that.
This drink, I like it.
I know, it's great, right?
Another!
But for the most part, that's pretty much been my personal thoughts and I guess final thoughts on the latest chapter of Dragon Ball Super the manga. Sorry that it's taken a while for me to talk about it, but that's pretty much my overall thoughts. I like the chapter. It's pretty much very boring for the majority of it, especially with the beginnings of Masu stuff, but for the second portion, when we get into the more filler-esque moments of the manga, it really starts to head into high gear and really becomes an interesting chapter. Another real interesting side note about the chapter is that how fast Toyotarō is really writing and crafting the chapter and storyline of this arc, because at this point in time, we're kind of like speeding through and heading towards Goku and the rest of the gang going on a full assault against Black already, which I think is very interesting because in the anime, at this point in time, we surely have Black coming through and fighting Goku and kind of getting a general gist of his character and his fighting and power. However, that hasn't happened in this portion of the manga yet, so it's going to be very interesting where the manga goes from here in the next chapter, which I'm excited to see. And with that being said, that's been my official thoughts. My final verdict on this latest chapter has to be a solid 7.5 out of 10. It's a really good, enjoyable chapter. Nothing out of the mill that's really explosively amazing, except for the Mario Kart stuff, which I've already talked about, and of course, other little tiny instances in the filler-esque kind of soft moments of the characters, and that's pretty much it. With that being said, also on the side note, with all this awesome Dragon Ball Super stuff that's been happening, we also got a really cool, interesting first ever interview with Toyotarō himself, which if you haven't gone out of your way to check out, I definitely suggest you do so because it's very interesting, awesome interview. We get a really nice mindset of what Toyotarō goes through with the making of the manga, his personal thoughts, what he likes about it, his relationship with Toy, his relationship relationship, his working relationship with Akira Toriyama. A lot of real cool stuff, so I definitely suggest checking out his interview. I'm really excited to see where the manga goes from here, considering that Toyotarō in said interview, spoilers, did state that the manga will be surpassing the anime at some point very soon. So, seeing as how they're kind of speeding through for Goku already meeting Omni King and skipping the whole black stuff, it's going to be interesting where the chapter goes from here, or the manga goes with here, rather. But with that being said and done, let me know what you personally think in the comment section below with all things Dragon Ball Super. And of course, that's been my personal thoughts and update on my reviews for Super. My reviews for Super, the anime, will be focusing on the English version, unfortunately, for the remainder of my YouTube career, if you will. However, the manga will stay the same whenever a new chapter comes out. I will do a review for it regardless. So that's been my official thoughts. So with all that being said and done, I hope you guys enjoyed. Comment below. Let me know what you personally think. And of course, subscribe to my channel if you've not done so already. I hope you guys enjoyed. And of course, this has been Jock12.